What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel. Check out the content. And with that being said, man, this video, man, I want to talk about LeBron James and his career and his legacy, right? As far as like what's going to happen with LeBron James after his career. A lot of times when you see iconic athletes like Michael Jordan, Tom Brady, Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant, when they step away from their sport, they step off the court or off the field, their net worth usually, well, always increase. Most cases with all those guys I just mentioned, their net worth increase. And the reason why it increases is because during their playing years, they create such a fan base and such a following. They can always tap into that, right? And once they retire, they tap into it and they can make even more money than what they make on the field. For instance, when you think about Tom Brady, like Tom Brady, I don't think the entire time he played professional football, I don't think Tom Brady was the highest paid football player, quarterback, or any other position, right? Maybe once he may have been, but for the most part, Tom Brady wasn't, right? But Tom Brady just had so much. He had so many endorsements off the field that he was making so much money, and he was more concerned about winning that what he was making from the football thing was not really important to him at that time. So now Tom Brady has built over the years a fan base that whereas though he always have relevance and he can always tap into that and make more money throughout, the rest of his life because he built that over his career. Same thing when you think about Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan hasn't played basketball since like 2002, I think. But Michael Jordan, his tennis shoes and his sneakers outsell everybody else combined. So Mike Jordan, if Mike say he's coming out with a new product or something like that, he has a tremendous fan base he can tap into. Magic Johnson, right? Like Magic Johnson makes more money now than he ever did as a professional basketball player because he has that relevance, right? He has that following, that fan base, and he has that relevance. And Magic Johnson is an excellent businessman, right? And I think that LeBron James is going to be the only guy who's different from that, right? And the reason why is LeBron James throughout his career, he's been more polarizing. He's taken on more of a villain type role, whereas though there's a shorter a shelf life when it comes to that villain type role and that villain type persona. In our culture, we always want the good guy to win, right? We root for the underdog, and so LeBron James, for the most part, for the most of his career, he's never been that guy. He's always been somebody who's been saying things that have been polarizing, or he's taken on a villain role, like when he went from Cleveland to Miami the first time, and then he was sort of a villain. And his the people who represent him never helped him to repair his image, right? Because, like I said, it's a short shelf life for somebody playing the villain. In our culture, we want the good guy to win, and so you don't want to be the villain, because you can't really tap into that. Anybody who says that all publicity is good publicity is just misleading you, right? They said, well, any publicity is good publicity. That is a myth, right? It's just not true that all publicity is not good publicity. In the short term, it could be, you could benefit and capitalize on bad publicity, but you can't keep tapping into that market because there is no, like, there's no nostalgic value to it. People don't idolize, like, anything that's negative. So it's hard to tap into that and keep making money off of it. And that's why I think, like, look, that's where LeBron James is different from Mike, Magic, or Tom Brady, Kobe Bryant, because they just shortchanged Mike when it came to putting him in a popular light, right? So even look at this, right? Bill, let me see. A strong fan base gives you instant customers for everything you launch in post-retirement: books, merch, podcasts, speaking engagement, brand partnerships, even investments. You're not starting from zero. You're monetizing trust you have already built. This is what they should have been planning for LeBron from day one. This is how you build your revenue streams. You can always tap into your market, even if you produce or come up with a new product or a new service. You already have a built-in fan base, right? And so they didn't set LeBron James up with that from day one. Cultural relevance, right, doesn't fade. Most people disappear after retirement. A fan base keeps you visible, talked about, and culturally relevant, right, which opens up doors to media opportunity, collaborations, and influence long after your active career has ended. An example of this: when Michael Jordan announced was going to come to NBC NBC do some interviews. That because of Mike's cultural relevance, that was big. You know, like Michael Jordan, I think, and it only turned out Mike was doing like 20-minute. He did a 20-minute interview and made millions of dollars. And not only did he make millions of dollars, but the network that I think was NBC. Yeah, it was NBC. The network made millions of dollars, right? So because Mike had that fan base and the network knew that they can always tap into that Michael Jordan fan base. And Mike, you know, Mike had the fan base. And so the networks took advantage of that. They made money. Mike made money. But LeBron James don't have that same type of fan base that Mike had, right? Or Kobe or Tom Brady, those guys, right? Like it preserves your legacy, right? All right, your fans keep your storyline alive. They share your highlights, defend your name, and influence or introduce you to new generations. This protects your legacy and ensures your impact doesn't fade. This is where like Michael Jordan really excels at this, all right? Because Michael Jordan fans keeps his story alive, right? They share his highlights, they defend his name, they introduce him to new generations. Because if you remember, like kids today who never even seen Michael Jordan play, they buy his tennis shoes, they buy his merchandise. Like these kids don't know anything about merchandise Michael Jordan, besides what, you know, the generation that watch Michael Jordan, you know, they that's what, you know, because that's what they hear. So that's where LeBron James people just failed him. You know, in that aspect, they failed him. All right, so I'll skip this one right here. Leverage and business deals. Companies partner with you, retired stars who still move audiences, right? A loyal fan base becomes negotiation power. You can demand better terms, equity, or long-term partnership because you bring a guaranteed attention. You know what I mean? So that's, again, going back to and using Michael Jordan as an example. You know, somebody like Michael Jordan will never be broke because he has that fan base. And it was the same thing with, like, people used to say, Michael Jackson is broke. Michael Jackson don't have any money. You know, like Michael Jackson might have spent all his money and, you know, and made some investments, but Michael Jackson was never broke because Michael Jackson had a loyal fan base worldwide. And the minute Michael Jackson announced that he was going to go do a tour, the tour sells out immediately. He was never broke because he had that loyal fan base. I remember one star, what was this lady name? Her name was Barbara Streisand. This lady charged $20 million to do one, come back and do one live concert. She charged $20 million. This is a few years ago. But because her fan base was like that and people admired and adored her so much, she could do that. You know, so, and that's money in the bank. Like your fan base is money in the bank. And so how do you, as an athlete, when you got somebody like LeBron James, who's been in the league 20, he going on 24, he played 23 years. This will be his 24th year. Just imagine somebody giving you free advertising for 24 years and you don't take advantage of that. You gotta be, your people have to help put you in a right position where as though you'll always be able to capitalize on that fan base. That's your lifeline as somebody who's been in the public eye for 24 years. That's your lifeline. That's your leverage, right? But when you take on the role of a villain and everything you do is polarizing, then it's hard to maximize that fan base like that. And so that's where I believe that people like Rich Paul and whoever else is a part of LeBron James management team, that's where I believe that these people failed LeBron James. So if LeBron James right now is worth $1.4 billion, if I'm LeBron James, I'm mad because it should be worth more than that. He should be worth like around about $3 billion, at least $3 billion, because you're in the public light. You're in for over 20 years. So basically all the deals that they have been getting, they just been taking like whatever deal has been presented to them instead of being able to cultivate his image. So like I said, he will have more leverage and more, more control. And then people will fight for his legacy and everything else. Your fan base, man, is really, like I just said, it's your lifeline, especially as a professional athlete or you're a performer. Like you gotta protect your fan base. That's your lifeline. And these guys who manage and partner with LeBron James, they just let him down. And I think once LeBron James retire, he is going to recognize, man, that that they led him down the wrong road. You never, as a professional athlete, there was no reason for LeBron James to play the villain. There was no reason for LeBron James to be as polarizing as he was throughout his career. No reason. Most of these guys stay away from like politics. Like Tom Brady made a couple political statements, but for the most part, Tom Brady stayed away from politics publicly. Michael Jordan stayed away. Certain issues you want to stay neutral on. People going to try to bait you and get you to talking about certain things, but that's where the people that represent you, they prepare you for those type of situations because they know that if, they don't want to put you in a position where you say the wrong thing and you upset your fan base and you turn people off, give people a negative taste in their mouth about you, and then you turn people off. And so that's the people who help manage LeBron James, man. They just did him a disservice. They really did do him a disservice. And so that's why, LeBron James won't have that fan base to the extent of these other athletes to tap into when he retired. He's a billionaire now, but like I said, LeBron James should be worth at least twice what he's worth right now. He's $1.5 billion. He should be worth like about at least $3 billion. Especially the NBA has put him in front of millions of people for over 20 years. You had an opportunity to build your fan base. And now he's going out under so much controversy and so much, so many people have so much to say about him. He's so polarizing. It was unnecessary. They just dropped the ball when it came to LeBron James. So that's my take on it. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, man, I'm going to check y'all out in the next video. Peace.